everyone. Welcome to the Glow podcast. I am here today with a very exciting guest. I have Jessica from Rx Bandz, and we will be talking more about her and then her business as well. But if you are new here, we are Tailored Marketing, and we help different healthcare companies with their marketing plans and strategies. So if you're interested, drop a comment below. Jessica, I'm so excited to have you here today. I would love for you to just kind of go ahead and introduce yourself so my listeners know who you are.
Sure, of course. Again, Jessica Walsh, founder, CEO of Rx Bandz. A little bit of my background, I'm coming from patient perspective. Before that, a Bechtel construction engineer and project manager.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that's so cool. And so I would love to kind of just for you to tell us a little bit more about Rx Bandz and kind of how you came up with the idea for this innovation in the industry.
Yeah. So as I mentioned before, I was from a completely different industry and stung by a bee, had a massive anaphylactic reaction, prescribed to carry an EpiPen. I'm not sure if you guys have seen them before, with me at all times. They're really big and bulky, just no great way to carry them. So I go running. I ended up duct taping them to my arm. I look so ridiculous. It's so embarrassing. There has got to be a better way, and sometimes you just need to drive the change you want to see in the world. So I created Rx Bandz.
Yeah, no, that's super, super cool. Yeah, I know I am not necessarily like allergic to anything crazy, but my boyfriend, he's allergic to like wasps and bees. And so every time we go hiking or something like that, we have to bring one along. And like, they are big and they are bulky. So if you're not carrying like a backpack or something, then like you said, you know, if you're going on just like a run, like a few mile run or whatever, you're not going to normally carry a backpack with you. And so they're very hard to just have, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. For me, figuring out, and not just when I was running, but just through general life, you know,
Yeah.
where am I? Is this a little, like, you can't carry a cute little purse. For kids, we'd have kids come over and play, and with my boys, and mom was like, Jack, do you have your auto-injector? He's like, Mom, like turning bright. Like, oh, I feel for this kid. I'm like, don't worry, I get it. She's like, wait a minute, I have one in the car, I think. She hands it him, and she's like, here you go. And he's like, I don't have pockets. Like, where do you want to give this to me? I'm like, she's like, would you carry it? Oh, by the way, here's how to use it. I'm like, don't worry. I carry one too. I know how to use it. But can you imagine that from the kids, that interaction? Or like when children are going off to school and they're like, do you have your auto-injector with you? And oh, for heaven's sakes. And then 1 out of 3 kids are bullied in school for having them.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just mean and cruel, and there's a whole other part of the society we need to like change for that. But at least let's, you know, is there a way to make it cool? Is there a way to make it so parents don't have to have those fights? Is there a way to make it so people aren't intimidated to use it? Because you're like, oh, here, so you're gonna have to inject yourself with this. I'm like, that looks huge. And oh, by the way, when I did, and when it injects, like the needle stays in your leg until you pull it away and the shield comes over. So of course, when you inject and you jump, you're like, oh, and the needle goes from here to there. And I had a bruise from like my knee to my hip. I was like,
I believe
oh,
it.
my goodness, like, are you kidding me? And so it wasn't until, and they expire each year, which is frustrating as can be as well, because
They're expensive.
they're expensive, absolutely. So it's like, what makes it so expensive? I'm like one of those type of people who likes to take things apart, and so it's like, well, what makes it so big? And what makes it so expensive? Who knows what's inside? So when you think is from a patient perspective, okay, well, this part's needle, because the needle's got to be huge, otherwise it wouldn't be so big, and like this part's drug, and like maybe that part's delivery mechanism. And when I opened it up, I found the needle is just like a standard 1M IM needle, which is about the length of this part. The drug that's injected out of here is 0.3 ml. That's like the size of my pinky nail. I don't even have long nails. And last is the delivery mechanism. So I'm like, well, if we can improve that delivery mechanism and make it smaller, then it's going to be less scary to use.
Yeah,
So
it'll
it's
be
like
less
there's
scary to
so many
use.
things that we can change.
For sure,
Absolutely.
and more accessible as well. I think that's like one of the biggest things. And then you brought up another really, really good point too, is like the expiration on them. It's like why did they only last for a year? Because a
Yeah.
lot of times, I mean, for anyone who's using one, I mean, you don't want to use it, obviously, but you want to have it. So if you do need it, and so it's like you're most likely not going to be using one every year.
Yeah, no, right. Hopefully not, unless you have a really bad run. But even still, like for me, like my allergy is to bees, wasps, ants, that nature. Other people who are exposed to food allergens, like I mean,
Yeah.
it's sad because people have to say, well, oh, who don't know, well, eat around it. It's like they can't. Like,
Yeah.
it can be as bad as if the same utensils were used to chop in a restaurant to chop a food that you're allergic to and is then used to chop your food. You could, depending
Yeah.
on the severity of your allergy, you could have an anaphylactic reaction. So you really have to have them with you at all times because I mean, it's so sad to say, but there was a polo player. I used to play polo, ride horses, who was out on the field, who was stung by a bee and died. It's like not when you're thinking you need to have your auto injector with you, but life happens and you're
Yeah.
exposed to allergens you don't necessarily intend to be exposed to or ever think that you possibly would be. The first time I had an anaphylactic reaction was when I was walking in my kitchen barefoot at night and it had dropped to the floor to die and I had stepped on it. So
Oh my
I
gosh.
almost died.
Wow. Yeah, no, that's crazy. And so, yeah, no, I mean, I feel like your personal experience with it too, like, I feel like personal experience always creates the best innovations
Yeah.
because it's like out of necessity. You're like, I know that there's a need for this because I need it. And like, you've seen other people, like, you were talking about the kids coming over to your house, like, you've seen that need there. In what other areas, like, I mean, I feel like it could be used in any use cases, but what are you seeing most people are like most excited for this new, smaller device?
Yeah.
What are they most excited about it for, and like why, I guess, too?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, okay, so I showed EpiPen, and here's the latest innovation from Teva for an epinephrine auto-injector, and here's another one from Adrenaclick to kind of give you an idea of what's out there. So,
Yeah.
with ours, they're super excited, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's tiny, really simple, easy to use. You just pull off the cap and your hand's already in the right position. So you press it against your leg, injects, fully retracts in under half a second. Becomes its own sharps container, safe to carry after use. The thing is that it's really durable and rugged. And we've given it accessory attachments so it can attach to like the back of your eye. So there's so much we can do with it. So people are really excited about
Yeah.
the small size, the ease to use it. Because I mean, the other besides being big and bulky and cumbersome to carry, in being intimidating to use, they're also confusing. Like you have to go through several steps to work this. For a good refresher, if you have to use one with your boyfriend,
Yeah.
take it out, pull it out. So that's like one step. Then you pull this off, and that looks like a big needle hole. That's the first thing people see when they pull off this blue cap.
Yeah.
That looks like I'm going to put that on there so I don't hurt myself. And they go like that, and then they inject their thumb. So as you can see, in an emergency, when you're trying to help someone, people get frazzled, and so many people inject their thumb. So this, when you just pull it off and press it against your hands are already in the right position. You can get a really good grip on this.
Yeah.
And that it will fit into the tiny pocket of their jeans where like nothing else will fit. So many things that they're excited about, and the design and the shape, but also that we've given it an extended shelf life so they don't have to buy it as often. And we
Yeah.
expect to come in a price point significantly lower than what you're buying current auto injectors.
Even
Yeah, but
better, you know?
better, like better in every way possible. That is part of it is because we work so closely with patients. Like I had an idea what I wanted, but through a grant that we had received through the New England Pediatric Device Consortium, like you really have to work closely with patients, not just the people. And you
Yeah.
can't just say, Isn't this so much better?" You really have to ask the questions in the right sort of way, and from that we were able to pivot to create the design that we have today by getting truthful answers and exactly what they wanted to see.
Yeah, no, that's so important because the patients are going to be, the primary consumers and users of it, and not just to people who are going to have to be using it, but their loved ones even too, like it's important to get even their feedback. And I guess what were they saying with regards to like what they were looking for? Like just something smaller, something more easy to carry, something more easy to use?
We really hit all of their pain points.
Yeah.
Having something that they can carry. They're like, is there a way to make it cool? Like, it's just not. So you hear about how the kids struggling, you hear about them getting bullied. You're like, okay, this is something that can they now carry this in a way that's not doesn't make them seem different. So that they're scared to use it. People often hesitate because they're like, this looks like it hurts. I don't want to inject my kid with it. So, and when we ask people which one hurts less, they haven't used it, but they always say ours because it's smaller. They're like,
yeah.
oh, does it deliver the same amount? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. That's amazing.
Yeah.
A lot of the small, lightweight, easy to use, we heard environmentally compliant in terms of sensitivity to less plastics in their environment, having an end to shelf life program. So, lots of wonderful feedback that we've received along the way to create something exactly that hits all of their pain points. The military also learned about what we're working on, and then we learned about their pain points and received feedback from them. So they wanted something that was really rugged, that our special forces could carry. We even did testing with underwater and a tank to see how deep it could go. And we found out that it was neutrally buoyant. So for their military special forces that may have to inject underwater because they're not swimming in the most pristine locations and are getting hurt in areas that that you may not normally swim or expect for someone to be swimming. For them, if they're working underwater, they want something that's small, simple, easy to use, that they can pull off, that they can carry, that's lightweight. And by the way, we found out that besides being waterproof, because we use a hydraulic delivery system, so to keep the hydraulic fluid in, we keep fluid out, but it's neutrally buoyant. So it's not going to pop up and give away their location, and it's not going to sink like a rock. So it kind of hangs out with them. If you drop it, you need to look, here it is. It kind of hangs with you. So some features that are just a product of our design that we didn't necessarily plan for it, but were just benefits of what we created.
Yeah, no, that's super, super cool. I remember during our first conversation, you telling me about the military usage a little bit and everything. It's great for them too, because it's like they can't be carrying something huge, easy to use for other people who are with them, like if they're on the go, then it's not like this whole thing of like, all right, like, let me get this out. How do I use it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's one of the things too that we've done. We've kitted it for them. So if they're carrying, we'll say 2 auto-injectors here, and then they want to carry, we've created a kit where they can carry, so if here's 2, and you think, well, how many are in here? Like 8.
Yeah.
Right? And then so they're all kitted in a way that's really, they all work the same. And then that way, because we are truly a drug delivery platform, we started off with epinephrine, but then we grew from there, from really understanding our users' needs, whether they're patients or for the military. And so the military wants epinephrine, ketamine, hydromorphone, DXA, and they're like, oh, here's spot for 4 more. So we're working on a couple of other indications for them that we hope to be announcing soon. But then that way, it increases the resiliency of our warfighter and keeps them safe, especially in areas now where drones are becoming more and more common in the battlefield, and we're in smaller groups. So you're not going to necessarily be able to have a medic with every group, especially when they're breaking down into smaller teams. So with that, you want to be able to increase the resiliency and get our men and women, our war fighters, back home. And so we're looking at, in terms of the design of our auto-injector, to increase that resiliency, and then also the drugs that we're working on. So I talked a lot about epinephrine, but we're also working with ketamine, which will reduce a post-traumatic stress disorder, and hydromorphone also for pain, and then TXA that stops non-compressible hemorrhage. So you can see it like where it's really like where, if you think of it on a very basic level, like we're a soda can, you can put our formulations in there or other people's formulations in. So with that, TXA is for non-compressible hemorrhage, the number one preventable death in the military, but also maternal deaths worldwide. Okay. You think, well, okay, those are statistics that sort of rattle off your tongue, but you think about it, like a preventable death. There's men and women, like brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers who didn't come back, and that could have been preventable. And to think that there's something we could do about that, and if we don't, that's really unconscionable. So we push forward to as if their lives depend upon it, because they do. And currently TXA it's not a new formulation, it's not a new drug, it's currently given through IV. And so what we've done, we've concentrated the formulation so it can be given in an auto-injector, and then that way, so if you can imagine with starting an IV, someone's bleeding to death, like I want to help, you'd want to help. We may not be able to start an IV, but now we can actually, especially in conditions for people even with advanced training, that's muddy, bloody, wet, slimy, dark, right? They're in the back of a Black Hawk or a tank, and it's not the best conditions. So or they're trying to hang a bag, right? You might as well make yourself a target. And if you can't hang it, then what do? And then they roll the patient up and they put the bag underneath them and using the weight of the body to compress it, but then it's in the dirt, right? Because they're not in the best conditions. Yeah. So to be able to make it so that now anyone can help, anyone can pull off the cap and press it against a leg and have it inject and save that person's life, whether it's mass casualties or whatnot. Yeah. So we're really excited, as you can see, about the device, but also the different formulations we're working on. With our TXA formulation, the pathway on it is a little more extensive. It took a while to get it, but we did our first bioequivalency study, and our formulation outperforms, lasts longer, and appears to be safer than TXA given through IV, which is fantastic to think that we can give them that gift of time, that they don't have to have that next shot for longer. That means especially for conditions where extraction can be delayed. It can take a while for them to get to the care that they need. We can buy them that time and that hope.
Yeah, no, that's really, really cool. And that's very innovative too for you all to try. Like, you're looking at it, like you said, as a medication, like, device where you're basically giving the medicine rather than it being just for allergies. It's like, okay, what are the other use cases that we can use this for?
Absolutely. Right. And that's that's really a product of working with the military. When they found out about what we're working on, it's like, come on down. They're like, what else can you deliver? And because we use a hydraulic delivery system, we can deliver really anything short of peanut butter, because we can control the speed. I mean, often when a lot of these other devices, when you activate it and the spring releases, the spring is going at the force that it's going at. And with ours, because it's hydraulics, we can slow it down and almost mimic the speed of a thumb on a syringe. And so then that way, if it's something more viscous that you traditionally can't give an auto-injector, we can.
Yeah. Are there any other, besides the ones that you just spoke about, are there any other like possibilities, or kind of the possibilities are endless because you said anything short of peanut butter?
So many possibilities, not just for what we're working on or in our pipeline. Some of the other things that we've been talking to the military on currently, such as things that are almost obvious in terms of like an antibiotic, a scopolamine for nausea. But we're also very much want to work with pharmaceutical companies or emerging technology are emerging pharmaceutical companies that have a formulation that can be delivered either IM, so intramuscular, or subcutaneously, that they're thinking about their next delivery device because to put your brand new formulation in a large outdated auto-injector, it's just, don't do that to your patients. You've worked so hard and so long on your formulation.
Yeah.
Put it in a small patient-centric auto-injector and really give yourself that competitive advantage in the marketplace, because if there's someone else who's working on something or formulation that's similar to what you're developing, and they have a choice between a big auto-injector or a tiny little one that's not nearly as scary and just as effective, people are going to choose the smaller patient-centric one. You'll see a higher uptick in adoption and user compliance.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. And so, right now, what does the process kind of look like for rolling it out? Where are you guys at with getting consumers, the military, whoever really to be using the product?
Right. So we can't sell it until we're FDA approved.
Okay.
So our first step in that is filing for the device master file, or more properly known as master access file. And so that creates a reference point for pharmaceutical companies, for us to use, for anyone else to use, with all the data of the performance of our device. So we submit that first to the FDA on our pathway, and then from there we layer on the drugs as a combination product. So our first one will be epinephrine, and after that we're going hydromorphone and ketamine and TXA, and we can just simply layer on the drugs. It's that very much that soda can model that I was talking about, that like once you have that, you can put anything in it.
Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense. And so that's great, and hopefully that all goes smoothly with the FDA approval for sure, because I know that it's something that will benefit a lot of people once it is on the market. What are kind of your goals over the next year or so? What are you mainly focused on? Obviously FDA approval, but is there anything else?
Right, exactly. So currently we're fundraising for our Series A. It's a preferred equity price round, so we're looking for accredited investors to join us. We also learned that we'll be able to work with the Evergreen Fund. It's the New Jersey Evergreen Fund, which we're just so thrilled. So we just learned that they'll match investors' funds up to 4.2 million. They'll pay the investor, for the investors that qualify for their program, 2.5% in management fees and 30% carried interest, which means that they have the benefit of the return of the investment for 30%. So that's a huge win for them. It's a huge win for us. We competed at Bio New Jersey. We won. It was such a huge honor. Out of, I think there was like 1,000 companies attracted to apply to present out of New York, Philly, New Jersey, Connecticut, our whole tri-state area. 90 were selected to present, and they gave 5 awards, and we won 2 of them.
Awesome.
Overall, and most inspirational. That was incredible. And from there, out of the woodwork came groups like the New Jersey EDA and their Evergreen Fund, and say, hey, have you looked into this? Love to have you part of it. And so instead of raising 8 million, that means we only have to raise 4, and they'll match the remainder. So huge win for us, huge win for the state of New Jersey, huge win for our investors. So it really is a win-win all the way around.
Yeah, no, that's super, super awesome. That's exciting. You guys have lots of things on the forefront right now, and it sounds like you're just getting started, and everyone's getting to start to see the amazing work that you're doing and putting in. So I'm very, very excited for you. And so I guess this would be my last question. So while you've been building RX Bandz, what has like one of the biggest lessons you've learned been from building the company from scratch?
Right. I think this is, there's so many things you learn along the way. And hindsight is always 2020.
Yeah.
But really to trust your instincts as you're moving forward. It's so easy for people to say, oh, this is really difficult, or you're not going to be able to do it, or like you listen to the negativity, or don't you just want to like go find like a job that's a paycheck, and it's like, no, because it's like, I feel as if you have an idea for something that could save people's lives and you don't follow through, and those people aren't here today, and
Yeah.
you didn't act. I was like, so absolutely, like follow through on your dreams. Creating, I had no idea how impactful it would be to create something that will help to make the world a better place, and that it makes going through these difficult times when you really hone in on your why.
Yeah.
And it's not something that I think I was really in tune to before. Coming from working for a really large firm, you were working for a project, it was a paycheck, there was pride in your work and your team. But when you really tap into the why behind what you're working on, and you have a team that is also in tune with that whole mission and ethos, it makes getting through the difficult times so much easier. You can have
Yeah.
absolutely brilliant people on your team, but unless they are the type of people who will fight with you to innovate, to bring things through, to get through the difficult times, and are in the trenches with you, and battling, not only do they have to be brilliant and capable, but they have to be resilient. And that is something that I didn't learn until now. And it really makes the difference in when you're building a team and that's going to execute and bring things through to the FDA. Because
Yeah.
when people joke around and everyone thinks this path to innovation is straight, and it never is. It looks like more like a roller coaster ride, and often people don't see that. It's like, yes, we have 15 military contracts. Yes, we're out raising our series. It just, I think from the outside, people don't realize how many hours and the fight that it took to get here. But when you're passionate about it, it makes it all worth it. And you're
Yeah.
excited each morning to get up and work on it. In some cases, it's like, oh, why wait? It's like 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, I know what I want to do. I want to get going. And sleep becomes a secondary thing. So yeah, there's so many things, but I think that's to the crux of it, is just really trust your instincts and listen to your why and tap into that.
No, yeah. And you can tell that you are very, very passionate about what you're doing and you believe in it very, very much for a very good reason as well. Like you said, you're changing people's lives and it shows how much you care about your mission and what you're doing.
Absolutely. It's the team, it's just seeing the innovation to the point of where it is and what we've been able to build and how we've been able to solve such a huge need that's not just for patients with anaphylaxis, but for so many people who need to carry emergency injectable medication in the US and then for allied nations and the lives it will save. It's an incredible process to be a part of. I
Yeah.
just feel honored that our team has been able to be a part of our team. Like, yes, that I get to be CEO and founder, but just simply wouldn't been here without their amazing accomplishments.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. That's super, super cool. And so I would love for you to tell all of my listeners, where is the best place to find you? Where's the best place to find RX Bandz online so they can look into it more, read more, follow along for your story and everything as well. And I'll also include it in the show notes too with links for easy access.
Of course, thank you. So our website is www.rxbandz.com, or you can email us if you'd like to get on an email list at info@rxbands.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story and sharing more about RX Bandz as well. You all are doing amazing things, and I really appreciate it.
I appreciate the time. Thank you for having me. Such a
Of
pleasure.
course.
Thanks.